Everybody, welcome to our first meeting for 2013, January 7th. It is 8:30, and we are going to start off today with a public hearing. So we'll call the public hearing to order. I'm going to turn to the Director of Corporate Administration to read aloud the notice.
Thank you. As required by the Local Government Act, a public hearing is being held at this time to hear from anyone who may be affected by the proposed changes to the city's zoning bylaw. The proposed amendment in bylaw number 4158 is to rezone the property located at 1432 102nd Avenue from C2 Commercial General Zone to RM2 Residential Medium Density Multiple Family Zone. There was one written response received from Mark Erickson of Erickson's Electric, who shares an alley with this subject property. He proposes that with any further traffic added, that there be an increase in maintenance, such as grading in the summer and snow clearing in the winter. And that was the only response received.
Okay. Thank you very much, but it was not a letter in objection to the zoning change or anything.
Yeah, they weren't opposed to the rezoning.
That's right. So with that, we'll go to the gallery then and call for any comments. Calling a second time. I see you all jumping up wanting to talk. No? So calling a third time and seeing none. Thank you very much. We will close the public hearing. And with that, again, we will call the regular meeting of City Council, our first one for 2013, to order. We have nothing under new and councillor business, but is there anything that somebody didn't get in on time? Yeah, okay. Councillor McFadden first.
Just a personal thing, Your Worship. On our next meeting, I may have to be away, and I'm wondering, I think Councillor Schumann may be gone. I'm wondering if there's any other councillors that anticipate they won't be here. I have a personal matter, but I could try and change it, but I'd rather not. So I don't know on the 21st, as long as you have a quorum, that's fine. I just don't want to be.
I'm going to be here.
Okay, well, thanks for letting us know. I mean, staff will check on that. Haven't heard anything else, so I assume we'll have quorum, but thank you for letting us know. Sorry, Councillor Malkinson, you had your hand up?
I just wanted to publicly congratulate city staff for their work on the snow removal this winter. It's been very good. I've received a lot of compliments. And I plan on doing a couple of school presentations about my work as a counselor in a couple of high school classes upcoming. So just a heads up on that.
Thanks for the heads up.
I don't know why, but yeah.
Good.
That's what I'm doing in relation to council.
All good.
Yeah.
So with that, we'll move to the minutes. We have 3-1, which are the regular minutes from December 17th for adoption.
So
Councillor Schumann and McFadden. All those in favor? Opposed? And it's carried. And we go to business arising. As you see, we have under 4-1, we have business arising that was referred to this meeting. So that one there, I think we'll need a motion. Sorry, Brenda, need a motion to lift it, don't I? Or is it automatically on the floor? Just for process.
Not, we didn't table it. We referred it to this
We
meeting.
referred
isn't
it, but it's on the agenda.
Yeah, it's
So.
just a regular item on the agenda.
Okay. So as you see, it is on there, but action is required because it was referred to this meeting. So I look to council because technically I'd just be calling for the vote unless there's further discussion. One of the things I did want to say is after looking into this a little further and with some of the information we have, this motion is somewhat worded out of order. So that would have to be changed if approved by council. And the reason being is the Shiptons cannot approach the ALC, the city has to, and this motion is to give the Shiptons permission to go talk to the ALC. And as we know, that technically under policy, not only ours through the CDP, but through the ALC is not allowed. So this motion, as worded, would have to be changed if approved. But Councillor Parslow.
Well, I think it should be said before we put this to the vote that we, as a council, met and reviewed many things concerned with this comprehensive plan, and I, for one, cannot support this motion because, given all the technical issues and possible negative implications, and I think if I would encourage the Shiptons to, when the time comes for reviewing our plan, to make application at that time, but now's not the time.
Excellent. Thank you. So is there any other comments?
What is the
Okay, Counselor?
motion that's on the?
So technically, the motion right now, that's been
This
referred
is
to this
fine.
meeting is to, yes, is to actually do a letter of support and give it to the Shiptons so they can approach the ALC to try to have their land removed. As we heard, we'd have to change that around, but Brenda, sorry, you want to correct me, or?
What we could do is, Councillor McFadden could request permission to have the motion withdrawn, and then we could start with a motion that would be in order.
That would work.
Okay,
That's an
under, I don't believe you can do that, because once a motion is made, it belongs to council, not the person who made the motion.
He'd be requesting your permission,
Oh.
and then we'd have a secondary motion made.
Okay.
It's an option.
Okay, so it can either be withdrawn, and then another motion be made, or we can just defeat or, and then it's up to council, so,
Question.
okay? So, the motion is to send the letter of support, so all those in favor? Opposed? And it is defeated.
I was opposed, sorry.
Pardon me?
I was opposed.
Okay.
I didn't move my hand, but I was opposed.
Yes.
Shaylee was in favor, wasn't she?
I was
There
in
was-
favor of the motion.
Oh, okay, there was no hand went up, my apologies.
Just didn't see it, sorry.
Okay, so on that, then we move to correspondence, and we don't have any, or delegations. So we move on to reports, which the first report we have is 7-1, which is report 13002 from the Director of Corporate Administration regarding our purchasing policy. And I look to Councillor. Sorry, Councillor Malkinson.
I appreciated Miss Bellick's letter, actually. I think that she made a couple of good points in it, and I was wondering if there's well, I don't know. I was wondering about any thoughts or responses to it from council or staff, you know? It's, I don't know. Any thoughts on it?
Sure, so let's start with the motion and under the recommendation to receive this for discussion.
Sure.
Just so we're within order.
Yep.
Seconded by Councillor Wilbur. All those in favor? Anybody opposed? And it's carried. And those, that's a really good question. I'm not sure what anybody else on council or even to staff, Jim, with the suggestion about the local. Now, we know that that's under Tillman and a few other things, there's some implications, but on the.
Yes, through your worship, the way former Councillor Bellick has made the request, it is couched in terms of other things being equal, so it may well not, actualizing her request might not run you afoul of Tilma or
Okay.
the
Yeah.
other three. Their acronyms are escaping me at the moment, but that still leaves the question of whether or not you're in support of a sort of parochial view of tendering. Should Dawson Creek firms get preference in Dawson Creek, but by extension, should they be eliminated if they wish to bid in Fort St. John? You've looked at that before, and in fact, you've had very little support from the contracting businesses in town, most of whom wish to be able to bid in Tumbler Ridge and Fort St. John and don't wish to be excluded from those, and don't in fact support you excluding firms from those places bidding in Dawson Creek. So
Yeah.
it's that wasn't something that was canvassed in your earlier discussion. If you wish to take it up now, I think you probably need a separate session in which to do that, and you probably need some public consultation.
Yeah, yeah, thank you. I did have some businesses talk to me about it as well and say that from their viewpoint, please don't do this. Only because as much as they'd like to make sure that locally they always got the business, they don't want to be excluded, as Jim said, if they ever bid on work in other communities and they're not looked at, right? So sometimes competition is very healthy, is the way they look at it. So, sorry, Charlie?
Yeah, in my former life, this issue used to come up every now and again, and the same sentiment was expressed by the business community, and could have all sorts of negative repercussions regionally from the point of view of other municipalities closing the lid in that sense. And I just believe that we would be unwise to adopt such a procedure.
Councillor Malkinson.
Just a question. I was wondering, I apologize for not having much knowledge around this, but I'm just not grasping how companies in town will be excluded from purchasing or bidding on things in other cities when, you know, the other cities are the ones that set the regulations.
It's more of a matter of perception from what they mentioned to
Okay.
me. If we start getting to the point where
You're getting an advantage.
you
in one town.
were an advantage if you were a Dawson Creek company, that's great if you're the Dawson Creek company. Now all of a sudden, Fort St. John companies or Grand Prairie or what have you, feel excluded from the system. So that benefits at that particular time the Dawson Creek company, but now all of a sudden, there's a lot of business in other communities outside of Dawson Creek that Dawson Creek firms, companies bid
Mhm.
on, and they don't want to feel that they'll be looked at negatively, and not, even if they're all things considered equal, or even a little lower, that they wouldn't get the job. So they figure on the competitiveness, it shouldn't be allowed.
Hmm.
That's the comments I've heard. Councillor Schumann.
Yeah, so just in response to Councillor Malkinson, we put in a policy where we give preference to Dawson Creek. Next thing you know, Fort St. John puts in a policy, they only give preference to Fort St. John, Chetwynd, Grand Prairie,
Yep.
everybody's, it's protectionism and it's not healthy.
It's just a curiosity of mine. And again, I'm not trying to make a big deal out of this. Can I ask one more question?
Of
course. What if the travel and transport is cheaper? Do we take that into account?
Jim, this says.
Through your worship, we generally construct our RFPs or our tenders so that whatever supply we're seeking is FOB Dawson Creek. So
FOB.
our local tenderers should actually have an advantage off the get-go. But there are many, many factors in this. You would think a local construction firm who don't have to put their workers up in hotels would have an advantage on a project like the Calvin Crook Center, but you know, there are many, many factors in motivating people's bids. So we don't necessarily get the lowest pricing from the local tenders.
Yeah. We have had it sometimes where companies from out of town bid less just to make sure, to get into the market, wanting to test it out so they could move
Mhm.
and set up in Dawson Creek. So
Yeah.
there's two sides to it, so.
Thank you, Your Worship.
No, good questions. Any other discussion? No, so Brenda, do we need a motion to,
No, the policy has been adopted.
Okay.
Only if you were going to make an amendment.
okay, just wanted to make sure, thank you. Okay, no other discussion then? Okay, so let's move on to 7.2, which is report 13004, and this is for the Canadian Tire development permit. Councillor Parslow.
So I'd like to move that report number 13-004 from the Director of Infrastructure and Sustainable Development, redevelopment permit number 13-01 for expansion of Canadian Tire store be received. Further, that staff be directed to proceed with the notification process and authorize in principle the issuance of development permit number 13-01 to Canadian Tire for the expansion of 11628-8th Street upon successful completion of the required 10-day notification period and receipt of the financial security in the amount of $15,000.
Good. Thank you, and that was seconded by Councillor McFadden. Any discussion? Other than congratulations to Canadian Tire for being the first development permit for 2013.
Do we have a ceremony for that like we do for the New Year's baby, Your Worship?
Yeah. Yeah, we'll call Mr. Baldick in. Terry. So seeing none, so all those in favor? Anyone opposed? It's carried. First of many to come, I believe, for the year. With that, we'll go to bylaws. We have 8.1, which is zoning amendment bylaw 4158, 2012 for third reading and adoption. And this is the one from this morning at 1432 102nd Avenue. Councillor Schumann, seconded by Councillor Wilbur. Councillor Malcolms.
Curious about the, I don't know if it's relevant right now, but the grading of that road. What's the deal there?
They were actually asking, if in the letter, they were asking not for the road, they
Mhm.
wanted the alleyway behind the
Oh,
business.
we don't.
And we don't.
Okay.
We, once a year, Jim, I believe, we grade the alleys in the
Yeah.
summertime.
Yeah.
Through your worship,
Another
we
one.
do a summer maintenance program on the alleys, but that basically amounts to one scrape and maybe some gravel if there's potholes or that sort of thing. But snow removal we don't do in the lanes since we moved the garbage to the
That's right.
front.
So presently, right now, if people wish to access the backs of their properties, they plow out the lanes themselves. Councillor Wilbur?
I was just gonna say, other residential property that back onto that same alley, they keep their parking lots plowed, and it is pretty cleared out actually,
Yeah.
so I don't foresee a problem.
Yeah, and they do it themselves. They were just sending a letter hoping the city would do it instead, so.
Okay. My mistake.
Okay, so all those in favor? Opposed? It's carried. I don't have anything officially under mayor's business other than to say Happy New Year to everybody. 2013, the way things are shaping up already, is going to be another exciting and busy year for the city of Dawson Creek. So I just want to wish everybody all the best. And with that, we'll go to the diary, Jim.
Nothing new on your on the diary, Your Worship. We won't have a Calvin Crook Center report for you until the contractors are out and we're ready to bring you a request for proposals for the rest of the building.
Okay, thank you. And under the consent calendar, motions to be released. So Councillor Wilbur and Malkinson, all those in favor? Opposed? It's carried. Strategic priorities chart, Jim.
Yes, through you, Your Worship. This is the last review of this 2012 strategic priorities chart. You'll be doing your strategic planning starting this evening, generating a new chart. In your 5 strategic priorities and 4 what's next if we get the 5 done. All that remains is the economic development strategy terms of reference. If you look through the various departmental items, your under financial services, your user fee philosophy is coming to the January 21st council meeting, so it will be gone. There'll be carryovers of the Calvin Crook Center. Apparently that's going to be part of my operational strategies for a while yet. It'll be carried over. There's a couple of other carryovers, the transportation plan, Crescent View Park plan, and as normal, the RCMP will be providing you with strategic priorities for 2013, but they're not checkoffs. They don't report to you directly. It's just for information. So the chart is pretty much complete.
Good. Good, good. It was a successful year then again. Look to council, you have any questions on the priorities then? Aside from looking forward to tonight to be able to do the eraser and start over. Councillor Parcel.
A question related to, I guess, tonight. I'm a little out of sync perhaps, but why is I thought we are meeting tomorrow, aren't we?
All day tomorrow, but tonight as well.
Yeah, on my little iPhone here, it was struck off for some reason.
There was an email.
Oh, that was
For the
a
8th.
mistaken email from Shorty. Like through
Oh, I
the-
was wondering if we're getting super efficient and dealing with it all tonight.
Depends on how quick we can resolve the world's problems. No, but it is scheduled for tomorrow. But you are right; it is off my calendar all of a sudden too.
Yeah.
Just
It
looked.
was off mine too, but there was an email correcting all of that information.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, but good catch. Yeah, it's not on mine, so I guess we'll have to remember it is there tomorrow. Okay. So on that, we'll move to question and answer period. We have nobody registered for that. Committee of the Wholesome Media. Anything for this time? Thanks for getting out of bed nice and early to come here for such a exciting meeting.
I wrote a C, so that was worth my time.
Let's see.
I was getting ready to write about Calvin Crook, but then
Okay.
there was nothing, so.
Aww.
So on that then, thanks for coming. On that, a motion to recess to the close then. Councillor Malkinson, seconded by Councillor Schumann. All those in favor? Opposed? And it's carried. And we'll take 5 minutes before we go into the closed, just to say Happy New Year to our friends over there.
Take a donut on the way out.
Yeah.